Hello, I am Lawson Brown, City Attorney, and here with the Public Utilities Director, Kyle Smith, and we're going to discuss easements and utilities that affect basically all businesses and private residences, but primarily residential properties.
And hello, everyone. I'm Kyle Smith, Public Utilities Director for City of Mebane, and as Mr. Brown was saying, we're here to talk about right-of-ways and easements. For the typical street here in Mebane, we have a 50-foot right-of-way section for that street, and typically anything newer than 2006-ish. We also have a 10-foot utility easement, which is situated behind the right-of-way. And what that is for other third-party utilities to be able to install and maintain those lines within that utility easement, which is outside the right-of-way. And some of the reasons why we do that is to avoid other city utilities that are located within the right-of-way, such as water lines, sewer lines. Sometimes there's gas mains there as well, and sidewalks and multi-use paths.
As Kyle has indicated, the typical street in a subdivision is 50 feet wide. The typical street within there is only 35 feet curb to curb, so there's some right-of-way area on each side of the paved area and curved area of the street. Behind that right-of-way is another 10 feet, which generally is considered, as Kyle has indicated, available for utilities. I remind everyone that North Carolina has a Dillon law state, meaning that we only can do as a city what the North Carolina legislature allows us to do, and under Chapter 160D of the General Statutes, they have set forth what we can do as the City of Mebane in our subdivision ordinance, and so the 10 feet is codified in our Unified Development Ordinance on page 7-31, utility and drainage easements.
As Mr. Brown was saying, per general statute, we cannot restrict access to other utilities that are coming in within the right-of-way or the utility easement. And we typically require what's called an encroachment agreement prior to those utilities coming in. And what that is, they will provide us a signed copy of an agreement which states what they can and can't do within that right-of-way or easement. And we have by statute, we have 45 days to review that agreement and those drawings and provide them comments or approve. And once they are approved, they are cleared to go to work within those easements and right-of-ways. And typically why they are working outside the right-of-way within those utility easements, because the right-of-way itself gets pretty crowded with our utilities, and there's not a whole lot of room to work in there. We have most of the time our water mains located under the sidewalk in newer areas of town, and we have to have enough room to be able to dig down and fully expose that line if we do have any type of issue. And we have to have a clear space on either side and below to be able to put repair clamps on, to be able to actually cut the line if there's a damaged section, to be able to cut that out of the way and just have room to work.
And over the past few months, with the fiber optic cables being laid throughout town, there have been a number of complaints and instances where we've had to take a look at it from the city standpoint to make sure they're within the 10 feet and to make sure they're not interfering with electric utilities or cable vision or, and as Kyle has said, the water and sewer utilities that the city maintains.
And as you see folks coming in and working within the right-of-way and the easements, as part of that encroachment agreement, they will disturb some of the ground, but a lot of times they're using trenchless technologies, such as boring and things like that, to actually install the lines. But they will come in and call in a locate which you'll see the guys come out and mark the different color lines on the ground. And many times they will come in and actually pothole those other utilities just to spot those, to make sure they're not going to be any conflict with what the work they're doing. And once that work is complete, they are required to come back in and restore that area by seeding it and patching anything back to where there'll be no future issues, and everything will be back the way it was prior to any work. If there are any disturbed areas that have not been repaired by the contractor doing the work, we encourage you to reach out to those contractors. But if that doesn't go anywhere, you can reach out to the city, and we can get in touch with those contractors to ensure that work is repaired.
We hope that this brief segment has educated you as to how the public utilities areas work behind the curb in Mebane.
Stay positively charming.